Hi everyone, welcome back to JP WHU TV. My name is John, your host as always, and I hope you're doing well as I always do. This video is sponsored by the channel sponsor 3retro.com. Please click the link in the description below that will take you directly through to the West Ham section of their website, where you can purchase some really nice retro gear, guys, as you can see from the icon that's up here. Along with Admiral and Umbro, West Ham colour inspired are basically claret and blue track jackets, polo shirts, sweatshirts and t-shirts, so go check those out. Any purchases made through the link in the description below, the commission that the channel would normally be getting, I'll be sending directly on to Iron Supporting Food Banks, the charity in the Newham area that is helping those in the Newham area that are struggling for food and everything basically at the end of the day, which is a real shame because we all know that we like to support our own, because we're West Ham supporters. Some of you may not be West Ham supporters, but there's 4 people watching, so by all means, please do say hello in the chat. Let's get the conversation up and running. So as always, guys, let's jump straight onto it. And of course, first and foremost, happy St. Patrick's Day to all the Irish viewers that are watching this live and or watching the replay. Obviously, it's a day where we should all be out in the pubs, absolutely blotto, but we're not. We're going to be sitting at home drinking. So as always, guys, I've got a pint of cider here, so congratulations. And we've survived 12 months so far. Youssef, welcome. Hello, he's here. He's talking about the Champions League. Walshy, hello, mate. Good to see you back. Long time no see. I hope you're keeping all right. John, hello, mate. I'm keeping all right, and I hope you're keeping okay as well. And Irish Tommy, welcome. Good to see you again. Back again. Another returning view, and hopefully a subscriber. But yes, I say happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. Now, this isn't football related because obviously we normally talk about a lot of things. There's a lot of football related stuff to talk about, of course, but there's a few things that aren't football related. This first and foremost really broke my heart when I saw this on Saturday afternoon, or sorry, Sunday morning I should say, because it happened very late on Saturday night. That Murray Walker passed away at the age of 97, the voice of the Formula One throughout pretty much everybody's youth. He was there for 25 years, 1976 until 2000 and what was it? 2000? No, where are we? But whatever the period was, because obviously it was the BBC and the ITV. He covered it all the time, and then he retired in 2007. No detail as to what he passed away from, but Formula One was my first sport that I remember watching way before football. I mean, I remember watching it in the late 90s. My first footballing memory is that it was the Italia 90, the semi-final. That's the first time I properly remember watching any football. But the Formula One has always been close to my heart, and it's close to a few other Hammers as well. AJ from the Kiwi Hammers, he's a big Formula One fan as well. I'm not so much of a Formula One fan as I used to be because of the way that the sport is going. It's getting very much like the Premier League, that people are looking to try and cement themselves in the tables rather than actually try and take each race as seriously as they should be. I mean, obviously there's always exceptions to it, but I'm very, very glad that the Formula One's back starting this month. But yeah, Murray Walker was a big influence on me, and this is the thing. That's it. He is a big influence on me. He's very, very famous, of course, for his was very famous, of course, for his impassioned commentary. And there goes Schumacher, all that stuff. He was absolutely. It was just. It's a voice that I really miss, and it was so good, so good seeing him last year on the Formula One commemorative program that Sky did when the anniversary came round. It was beautiful to see him on there in conversation, sitting from his home. Gary, good evening, mate. It was heartbreaking to read that Murray Walker was like that. John, we'll talk about that in a minute. But as I say, this is John. Please interact with the conversations. Tommy says Murray was the voice of the Formula One for so many years. His commentary was exceptional. Like you, JP, I lost interest in it a few years ago. Yeah, it's boring. It's boring for a lot of it, especially when you have someone like Lewis Hamilton or the German, which his name escapes me for the minute, just going out seconds and seconds ahead of everybody else. It makes it boring. It genuinely does. I prefer it as it used to be in the old days. I know that, like, I know that Schumacher used to do that, and Coulthard and everybody used. There were games, but there were races where it happened, but not every single time, and that's what got boring for me. Walshy says it was funny to listen to when he made a few mistakes. Formula One is poorer with him not being around. Absolutely agreed, mate. I'm not a big fan. As much as I respect David Coulthard and his co-commentator, again, name escapes me for the minute. I'm sure you guys will remind me. It's just nothing like Murray Walker. I was watching Channel 9's news, not the Fast Show guys. The Channel 9 over in Australia. I watched the video that they did of the commentary, and as Andy talks about it, they picked him up on he picked him up. They were picking him up on some of the stuff that he said, the funny things, the mistakes that he was making during his commentary. It was more specifically, it was when he was being interviewed on David Letterman, where he says, "There's nothing wrong with the car, it's just on fire." Brilliant line. John says Murray Walker was a great man and will be sadly missed. Gary says only watched it when Nigel Mansell was about. Agreed, mate. My first piece of sporting memorabilia that I remember, what I actually purchased for myself, I should say, was Mansell's Ferrari. Obviously not the literal one. That bought the model from the local model shop in in Worcester Park, and which I think is still going to this day. Well, at least I hope it's still going to this day. But yes, it was very, very emotional for me reading that. It genuinely was, as I say, because he was just, as Andy says, it's poor. The sport's poorer without him. It's kind of like when Motson stepped down. When he retired, Motson was the voice of football for a lot of us in the 90s and 2000s, and obviously the 2010s. Well, not all of it, but the majority of it. And the 2010s and upwards. And Murray Walker was the equivalent. Two very, very proficient commentators, and yeah. Andy says, I remember Andy Murray. I remember Murray was with James Hunt in commentary. Yes, a little bit before my time, fella, but yes, I wish I could have heard that. I really, really do. I mean, I probably was alive. I was probably alive. I just don't remember James Hunt's voice. And what a film that is! That movie that came out a few years ago. Raced, I think it's called, whatever it is, about the James Hunt fight that he had at throughout the time. It was very, very good film. It came out a few years ago. Very good film. Irish Tommy says I was wobbling on my Formula One interest, and that awful new engine sound was the final straw. Yeah, the old engine sound was glorious, and they ruined it. Yeah, it is because it's all about saving every single millisecond they possibly can, and they're changing the engines, changing the grips, the tires, and all the little bits in between. It's just, yeah, it's fast. I still watch like Silverstone. I watch about 3 or 4 races a season. I don't watch every single one because most of them are boring. But like Silverstone, and the again, guys, you know what, my brain switches off when I do this for some random reason. But there's about 4. I mean, the Australian Grand Prix, sometimes I can try and catch, and likewise with Germany race as well, for that matter. Like when it used to be around the Nürburgring, that was so much fun. Really enjoyed that. And of course, talking of which, the Nürburg. If anybody was watching Top Gear in its original interaction, Sabine Schmidt, the German female racing driver, passed away today as well. That was just like 47, I think. Such a shame. The only woman to go around the Nürburgring in under a minute, I think it was. I think that was her record. But absolutely fantastic. Really, very, very talented woman. Bit of a looker as well, for that matter. Called Rest of Soul now. But as I say, it's a very, very bad shame to read that. But let's get on to something a little bit more jovial now, shall we? On this day in 2007, we beat Blackburn at home 2-1. which a lot of people, including West Ham's website today, said it was the start of the Great Escape. Guys, this will try and test your memory. Who were the goal scorers? Because we beat Blackburn 2-1 after losing to Spurs the weekend beforehand. Can you guys remember who scored those 2 goals for West Ham in 2000 and on this day in 2007? It'd be interesting to see if you guys can say it. Tommy says Mansell's overtaken of Senna at Monaco is something I'll never forget. Yes, Monaco. That was the one of the other courses I was trying to remember. Thank you, Tommy. Yes, unbelievable driving, and I've got vague memories of it. I mean, obviously, you remember the Senna crash itself. I don't think I was around at the time, but I remember watching it on the news. They were talking about it for quite a long time. But yeah. So guys, let me know if you can remember who the 2 goal scorers were on this day in 2007 when we beat Blackburn at home 2-1. Now, just some very good news as well, because as we know, over the last 12 months, a lot of stores have been closing, and and some that have been really surprising. That, like, for example, Nokia are saying that they're going to be axing 100,000 jobs soon. But it was great to read. You guys probably don't care about it, but for me personally, I like this. Greggs are opening another 100 more stores very, very shortly. So it's fantastic to see that they are keeping people in employment. That's all I care about. I like to see where people, new jobs are being made available rather than people having their jobs taken away from them. I genuinely do. That's the reason why I wanted to talk to you guys about that. Now, obviously, of course, again, give me your thoughts on everything that we're talking about, because there's 9 people watching at the minute. So so come on, guys, give us your thoughts on this. Tommy says, honestly, I have no idea who scored. Where's Ken? Exactly, he's probably off watching one of the football. I think there's football on at the minute. I'm sure Yusuf's certainly probably watching some of the Champions League. But where are we? So yeah, no, yes. So yeah, neither game doesn't kick off until 8 o'clock, so we're good for that. So yeah, Kent's got no excuses in that case. Gary, yes, Tevez was one of them. Who was the other one? Now, according to reports, obviously, that come out recently, the World Health Organization are reviewing the AstraZeneca vaccine. Trying to get that out there, because of the complaints of the multiple side effects. One of which causes blood clots, and as a result, there, it's a 6 in 1 million chance of getting a blood clot from it, which apparently is the same ratio of the pill for women. Apparently, that's the same ratio of risk of blood clots. So, to be honest with you, it's understandable. Of course, it's got to be looked at both sides, completely from both sides. But yeah, Yusuf, hello, mate. The question was who scored the 2 goals for West Ham on this day in 2007 in the 2-1 victory over Blackburn, and Gary said both. Yep, Tevez and Zamora. So well googled there, Gary. But yeah, as I say, it's good. It's good that it's being looked into. Of course, it has to be looked into, but it's a fledgling vaccine. Nothing. I said when they were talking about getting the vaccines out towards the end of last year, when we talked about it on that weekly chat as well. Nothing is going to be free of side effects. There's always going to be problems when you've got a new vaccine, especially under these circumstances. It's just I just don't get the stupidity. I mean, people thinking you're going to be microchipped. I mean, come on, really? Microchipped? Honestly. Gary says, just have it. Anything to get us out of this madness. Agreed, man. 100%. The figures have been going up slightly over the last few days, but it's still nowhere near the 5 digits that it was 2 or 3 months ago. Tommy says that just read the side effects of any medicine. They're always scary. Completely agreed. This seems an overreaction because it's a new vaccine, mate. It's an overreaction because people don't like something new. A lot of people don't like change. A lot of people don't like to do something new. This is the thing. There's always scaremongers out there, especially in the world of Twitter and Facebook. You know, people saying, like I said, Mark was saying a few seconds ago, that people saying that that there's what was it? It was about 6 months ago. People saying that it's going to rechange your DNA, and there's microchips in there so people can track where you're going. We're tracked where we're going anyway. It doesn't matter. Wherever you pay your card, you are being tracked. If you're paying, if you're using your Oyster card on the bus or the train or the tube, whatever, you're getting tracked. TfL know where you're going. Your bank knows where you're shopping. All right. Most of the time, it's for the last 12 months, the majority of us have been doing it online. But the bank knows when you go down to your local supermarket, or the bank knows where you are when you're taking cash out and everything. We're being tracked. We've been tracked for 30 years with CCTV and all that. It's just it's pathetic that people are getting this stream mongering. Yusuf says, I can't go back into the stream. What made you go into this topic? Yusuf, as you will know, for the last couple of weeks you've been coming back to the channel, and thank you very much, of course, for doing that. Then we talk about all sorts of things, everything. It's literally a discussion of the last 12 months, over the last 7 days. So it's everything that's made the news that I think you guys would like to talk about. Of course, and as the intro says on the video, it's an open Q&A, so you guys can ask me questions, and I'll talk to you at the same point. Gary says people are happy sitting on their fat asses. Gary says if you have a time machine, Yusuf. And he says he's had the AstraZeneca jab. I remember you saying that, mate. If you had any side effects of it? Have you had any problems with it? I'm guessing you haven't, because otherwise I'm sure we would have seen stuff on your Twitter account and everything. But I'm glad to see you back, Walshy. Really does mean a lot. Really does mean a lot. Now, let's turn to the football stuff. And we'll come on to West Ham in a few minutes' time. But let's turn to the football stuff. Because obviously, Gary says he's got his... Hang on, I'll come back to that. Gary says, I've just got my second jab soon, and I test twice a week, and I'm fine. Good lad. Good. Very glad. Tommy says, if you're worried about blood clots, you're blood clot. Yusuf said, could you please watch the Champions League quarterfinals? No, I don't care. I'm not bothered. Once West Ham get into it, then we'll start doing those watch-alongs, mate. But no, not too much. This is the whole... I'm not bringing stuff in 2/3 of the way through the season, son. It's not happening. Wolf says, big side effects and ended up into intensive care. Jesus, mate. No wonder we haven't heard from you for a while. But I'm hoping you're okay now. But yeah, turning to the football side before we come on to West Ham, because today was supposed to be the day. I haven't seen anything come up as yet that Yusuf says, okay, fine. Did you ever go to London Stadium for games? Yes, mate. I've been a season ticket holder for 11 years, and this chat we would do. So yes, I've been there for a long, long time. Tommy says Champions League. Am I bothered? You're in the minority here, Yusuf, I'm afraid, mate. Because most of the guys here that are watching are West Ham supporters. But yeah, Kent's massively football addicted. I know a few guys are very addicted to the Premier League. I'm not. Never have been. Never will be. I prefer the League One days. The football was much better. But I don't know if you saw this yesterday. Arsene Wenger has been calling for the World Cup and the Euros to be played every 2 years rather than every 4. Good evening, Eden. Hope you're all right, mate. Good to see you back. Now, he says, for 11 years, I wish I could just go to a stadium just once. We will do, mate. We'll be going back soon, very, very soon. But yeah, as I said, so Wenger's asking for the World Cup and the Euros to be called... so to be played for every 2 years and everything else to be scrapped, which is basically he's saying, well, he didn't actually say it. He's saying, well, maybe it's a good idea that we do that. Which to me is saying one of two things, right? That because obviously he's been working with FIFA since, was it November 2019, I think. So what was it? Just a year and a half. So it says one of two things to me. Either that FIFA are discussing it, which is why it's putting it out to the general public, or the fact that it's been blocked, that idea. And again, he's putting it out to the general public to get people's thoughts on this. Now, for me personally, I think it's bloody stupid. I think it's honestly bloody stupid that we have an international tournament once every 2 years. 4 years is not enough. 4 years is way too long of a break for football fans. But 2 years, no. Because let's think about it. Every 2 years we have the World Cup, then the Euros, and the World Cup, then the Euros. So there's 4 years breaks in between the same tournament. But halfway through that is the Euros and the World Cup. 3 years. I can't. A 3 year gap between the two makes a little bit more sense. But he made a very good point with it. I don't agree with what he's saying, but he makes a very good point with it, where he was saying that you look at the average age of the international teams that are back in the World Cup and the Euros at every tournament. They're an average of 27, 28 years old, so that a lot of players don't have the returning opportunities to try and win it again and all that sort of stuff. So I get it from that side of things. I just don't agree with it being every 2 years. I just ridiculous. I don't. Yusuf says, did you catch the news? Southgate will probably announce the England squad for the international break tomorrow. Okay, mate, thanks for letting us know. It was supposed to be today, because it's normally on a Wednesday before the fixtures come out, a week or so before the fixtures come out. The fixtures start being played. But yeah, if it's tomorrow, it's tomorrow. But we will talk about that as and when. I guess you are interested in this one at least. Yusuf, as I keep saying, and you clearly are trying to wind me up, or you got a memory of a bloody goldfish. England and West Ham. That's all I'm interested in. England and West Ham. I'm not a man that's club over country. I know some of you guys are, so that's fine. I haven't got an issue. I haven't got a problem with that in any shape or form. But Irish Tommy. But as I say, Yusuf, try and stick to the conversation. It's not hard. Strongly. And Walshy says, note from me on the Euros and World Cup every 2 years. Tommy says, same thing. Strongly disagree with Wenger. I hate the international break as it is. Last thing I want is more of them. The qualifying stages will still be the same thing, but I know what you mean, mate. Yeah, but as I say, Yusuf said, but 3 years gap is tough for the players. They get older every year, obviously. Well, really, Yusuf, really. You're not really representing the Chelsea fan base well with these comments, some of these, mate, I tell you. Walshy says it's fine as it is. Yep. Yusuf is still not keeping 100% to the topic. So I heard you were Irish. Am I wrong? Yes, you are completely wrong, mate. Totally wrong. I've no idea where you got that, and you're blatantly trying to troll me. As I say, just to try and keep it a bit more smarter than that. Now, of course, as we would have heard, one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this and then go on to about the England squad is because apparently Pickford. Well, if you thought I was Irish, then why'd you say that you heard I was Irish, mate? Come on, you got. It's just honestly. Now, this is the thing. Pickford's out for a few weeks after the niggle he picked up over the weekend. So with the World Cup qualifiers coming up soon, obviously because they're towards the end of this month. Who's your number one for England? Generally, who's your number one for England? Who would you want to see representing England? I mean, Henderson, Pope, maybe. For me personally, it's Henderson, but he's prone to mistakes. Nick Pope is prone to mistakes. I mean, obviously, Joe Hart's in there again. Hasn't done much for Spurs apart from the Europa League games. Tommy says his club over country, but then I'm Irish, so it's probably defensive to preserve my mental health. Fair point, mate. Fair point. Kent says, welcome, Kent. Hope you're right, mate. Bad news for club to lose Antonio to international football because he won't get his Won't get his rest time that he has now. Well, we have to wait and see, mate. We haven't seen anything yet. Tommy says Pope for goalie. Eden says Pope. Steve Hill, welcome, mate. Walshy says Roberto. I knew you were gonna do something like that. Yusuf says, I think the first time I came here talking about Ireland, so maybe that's why. And Nick Pope or Henderson, no Pickford. Yeah, all right, whatever that logic means. Steve Hill says Pope for him. Yeah, I can see. I can see Pope is Pope. Pope I get, and as I say Henderson I get. They're both two very, very good goalkeepers. Very, very good, and very, very happy with if either of them represent England, over in the next week or so. So it'd be very, very interesting to have that, to try and figure out where we go with this. Kent says Pope, but won't. So, sorry, let me try that. I'm getting into Luke territory now. Pope, but won't be him because he's not great with his feet. So Henderson, I think, will get the nod. It's a good point, actually, mate. Very good point. Yes, if defence is a bigger deal, maybe you will see Dyer and Keane together. Mate, come on. Do you know what, mate? We've seen some worse things have happened with England, mate. Genuinely worse things have happened. Honestly. Now, of course, this weekend is the FA Cup quarterfinals. So for those that are in that are watching that are in for the do the fantasy league, you got to be well aware of this because there's four fixtures this weekend. And I just thought we'd just run through. I just want to get your predictions on these fixtures, bearing in mind who's the referee in charge. So for example, Everton Man City. Michael Oliver is the referee. His assistants are Lee Betts and Sean Massey Ellis. Fourth official is Mike Dean. VAR is Andre Mariner, and Adrian Holmes is the assistant on VAR. So, what are you predicting with the Everton versus Man City? Personally, I'm thinking City are gonna smash Everton badly. For Bournemouth versus Southampton, it's Martin Atkinson. Assistant referees are Stuart Burt and Konstantin Hatzidakis. I think I pronounced that right. Fourth official is Simon Hooper. VAR is David Coote, and assistant VAR is Nick Hopton. Do you know what? I've got a funny feeling Bournemouth might do this. I genuinely think Bournemouth might do that fixture. Let me know your thoughts on those two, guys. Leicester City versus Man United. Referees Craig Pawson. Not Craig Dawson, before anyone picks me up on that again. No one's picked me up on that yet. Assistant referees are Simon Bennett and Harry Leonard. Fourth official is Darren England. VAR is Stuart Atwell, and his assistant is Matthew Wilkes. Leicester versus Man United. I would love for Leicester to beat them. I genuinely would. I'm not sure on that one. Possibly, yeah. Let's fuck it. Let's say Leicester City. And Chelsea versus Sheffield United. Referee is Andrew Madley. Assistants are Neil Davis and Edward Smart. Fourth official is Andre Mariner. VAR is Peter Banks. And his assistant is Simon Beck. So I'm going for a Chelsea victory over that. But you never know. Stranger things have happened. Just going back to England, while you guys give me your thoughts and your predictions on those. Tommy says Henderson is still a bit raw and inexperienced, but will be number one by the time the World Cup comes around, in his opinion. Yep, more than likely, mate. Very much more than likely. Yusuf says, don't think Pickford is good with his feet either. Henderson is good at shooting because he used to play with Sheffield United and they defend by shooting. Yeah, fair point. Fair point. Yusuf says, didn't hear of those referees before, mate. You are one of the worst. You are one of the worst football supporters I have ever had the misfortune to discuss football with. You've never heard of Michael Oliver. You've never heard of Stuart Atkinson. You've never heard of Craig Pawson. You've never heard of Andrew Madley. You've never heard of Lee Betts, Michael Dean, Andre Mariner, Adrian Holmes, to a lesser extent, Sean Massey Ellis. The female touchline assistant. I mean, yes, Neil Davis and Edward Smart. Eddie Smart every now and again, but there's the majority of regular. Come on, guy. Honestly, I know it's bait, mate, but it's ridiculous. Kieran, good morning, mate. Hope you're right. Milesy, both Andys in the chat now. That's good. John says, I'm so pissed off when Newcastle now, but still, hopefully we can stay up. It's not looking good, fella. It's not looking good. I mean, let's have a quick goozy at the table. So Newcastle are 2 points with a game in hand over the bottom 3. It's not looking healthy, fella. It genuinely isn't looking healthy. But yeah, so okay, so guys, let's turn to the West Ham game now. You've missed quite a lot, fair bit, Andy, because we're literally halfway through. So as you know, when it comes to the halfway point, Milesy, we start talking about West Ham. So it's literally right here. So give me your thoughts on the Man United game. Ken says, I haven't heard of Stuart Atkinson. I've heard of Stuart Atwell and Martin Atkinson. Up. Okay. Tommy says, I seem like the Sheffield United players down tools against Leicester following Chris Wilder's sacking, so it could be a big defeat against Chelsea. Very possible. Very, very possible. So Andy's Milesy, as you've popped in, mate. We were literally just talking about. Give me your predictions for Everton versus Man City, Bournemouth versus Southampton, Leicester versus Man United, and Chelsea versus Sheffield United in the FA Cup this weekend. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. But yeah, the roundup for Man United. Give me your thoughts on that, guys. Charlie Dobson, welcome back. Good to see you again. Yusuf thinks Man City are going to beat Everton 2-1. Totally get that. And he says, Milesy says, "Will do. Give me 2 minutes." Fair enough. But yeah, the Man United roundup. Disappointed to lose a game on an own goal, especially in the manner that happened. Tommy reckons 3-1 to City over Everton. Yeah, disappointed to say the least. And I mean, it wasn't the best of performances. To lose points from, I mean, we would have taken a draw. We would have taken a draw. I mean, I know a lot of supporters wanted us to get the win. Of course, it would have been very nice to cement us back in the top 4. But at the same time, it's just one of those things. Now, I know a lot of people are criticising Moisey for bottling it against the so-called the Sky Sports top 6, as everyone's now referring to them as. And he does, to a degree. He does. Yusuf was saying, is there pens or extra time before? I'm just saying that on the 90 minute, mate. Come on. Because Leicester 2-2, Man U. Then extra time or penalty, then Man United win. Very possible. Very possible. Good shout, mate, to be fair. All right, that could very well happen. Walshy says, Saints to win 2-0. Charlie Dobson says, what do you think about the Leeds United match? Which one? Our game or the game they played at the weekend? Kent says, disappointed and frustrated about Man U. We should have had a go. Should have had a go. Nothing to lose, everything to gain. Completely agreed. Walshy says Man City 2-0 over Leicester, over Everton. Sorry. Milesy says Bournemouth to win 2-1. Man City to win 3-0. Chelsea to win 5-0, and Leicester to win 2-1. Good point. Andy says 4-0 to Chelsea. Charlie Dobson versus West Ham. Do you know what, mate? I agree with what Moisey said for both the Man United fixture, which is what we're talking about, and the game against Leeds as well. Could have done better. Genuinely, we could have beaten Leeds a lot more clinically than the way we did. Really think we could have done. But yes, it's the way that it is. Unfortunately, as I say, you know, we've taken all 6 points off Leeds, so I'm happy with that side of things. But there was a bit of nervousness to a certain extent, and same thing, especially with Man United. Is for those that are watching in the live watch along on Sunday evening, it was hard. It was hard to do it. It was hard to watch that game to a degree because of the amount of challenges we weren't putting in up until the own goal went in. You know, Steve Hill says disappointed against Man United. Don't think. In the league and cup game, we had one shot on target, unless I'm wrong. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure on that, Steve, to be honest with you, mate. But that sounds about right. To be fair, I think we might have had one shot on target, against them. Let me just double check it. Where are we? I'm I'm sure I read something that we did have like one or two in the second half, because I do remember Henderson making a couple of saves here and there, but whether they were on target or not is another matter. Irish Tommy says it's a shame we were so negative against Man United when we played more positively after conceding. It was a much closer contest. Spot on there, Tommy. Absolutely right. Andy Walsh reckons Leicester are gonna win 1-0 in the FA Cup. Milesy says, Man United, I am gutted. Too negative. Game was crying out for Ben Rama at the start. 100%. Could have made the difference on the counter-attack. Totally agree. 100%. I've predicted. I've wanted Ben Rama in every single game since, where are we? It's pretty much it's like October, November time. I don't get it. I genuinely don't understand what's going on with Ben Rama there. I really don't. A lot of people don't. Kieran says the clue is Moyes has never beaten a top 6 team away from home. I wasn't surprised. Yeah, I wasn't surprised, mate. I mean, I said in the preview that it was a free hit, but again, it's the way we play, it's the way we lose, and the way we win, and the way we draw. And if we'd have taken a draw out of that, we would have been incredibly lucky. To be fair, we genuinely would have been incredibly lucky. But that's the way it goes. Let's have a look. Let's bring up the stats. Players, right. Yep, no. Steve, mate, absolutely right. 0. We had 7 shots and 0 on target. Absolutely right. Kieran says the clue. Oh, sorry, I just read that out. Miles says Ben Rama 12 starts, 9 wins, 2 draws, and 1 defeat. Exactly. Gary says Moyes is set up for us to not let them score. They didn't, and I don't blame anyone. Move on, I'm over it now. Agreed. But as I say, I just wanted to see what you guys were feeling about it. Charlie Dobson says, feel sorry for Ben Rama because he's always in and out of the team. Agreed. Jakey boy, hello mate. Good to see you. Hope you're keeping all right. Where are we? So, yeah, it was interesting because it's not just us that have been quite critical of how we set up against Man United. Ian Wright's not been happy with how Antonio was being used. You know, there's a lot of conversation going on over the last few days about, you know, Ben Johnson being completely clueless. I think that's in the game. I think that's more his instructions from Moyes than anything else. You know, apart from the point that he kept looking at the side all the time. I know you didn't mean the one, mate. Don't worry about it. Eden Pickering says, I think that was the first time we've had 0 shots on target in a game for ages. Agreed. It was disappointing. It was the only goal that made us play better. Disappointing. It was only the goal that made us play better. Agreed. Everyone's saying hello to each other. This is good. Yusuf, got to go. Nice stream. Thanks, mate. Know you're busy and at the same time. You know, busy and at the same time. Cool, mate. Cheers. Have a good evening, fella. Yusuf, I'm trying to be annoying. We're just trying to have a laugh. Well, you're doing it in the wrong way, son. You're doing it in the wrong way, which clearly shows you're probably not much older than young Jake here. But I know you're having a bit of a laugh, mate, but there's ways of doing it, son, which you'll learn when you get older. Gary says, we have Lingard for the rest of the season. Get ready for a fantastic end to the season. Milesy says, are you having a beer, GP? I'm still got my cider here, mate, as always. Tommy says, as much as I love Nobes, he shouldn't be starting games anymore. He can't hack it in the Premier League now. The game just passes him by, and it's hard to watch him in all honesty. That's a bit harsh, Tommy, but I know what I can't agree with. Sorry, I can't disagree with the majority of that. I thought he did for Noble. I thought he played well against Man United, but yes, he has to be an impact sub now anymore. He really does. He has to be an impact sub. Kent says, to be fair to Jono, I was a bit confused sometimes at where Jono was playing. That's why he was looking over to mine, going, Where am I supposed to be? You know, that's the thing. But yeah, Ian Wright's not been happy with how Antonio was being deployed. He said you can tell that when the players aren't happy with the system they're meant to be playing, you can see it in their body language. Mikel Antonio all of a sudden is playing out on the wide right to stop Luke Shaw. What for? Then he goes on to say, Antonio is having one of those seasons where, to look at him, there's not really a defender in the league who likes to play against him. So why would you then take him out of the firing line for people like Lindelof and Harry Maguire? They can't stop him once he gets into his flow. If he gets the ball, he'll hold it and link play most of the time. He'll start running with it. They can't stop him. Why not put him in his most potent position to try and cause Harry Maguire and Lindelof problems? And that's the end of the quote. And to be completely honest with you, 100% agree. 100% agree. He's our highest goal scorer, so almost this season, almost, and he's a false number 9 for when he's been played for the last 2 or 3 seasons. So do it, put him up front. Don't stick him out to the wing. Which, let's be fair, he is a winger and he always will be. But we had no striker on the pitch, no striker. So I agree with Righty 100% on that. Marsley said, if you wanted to put a man in the middle, could he have not used maybe use Coventry? Agreed. Good shout. Good shout. Gary, where's your comment there? Noble is a late sub to slow the game down at the end. Love him though. Yeah. I would agree with that. Eden says it's a shame as Johnson was class last time against Man United. Yes, he was. Kieran says, Antonio was wider than the linesman. Didn't make sense. Good, fair point. Yusuf says, before I leave, fucking hell, talk about a bad penny. Am I able to watch the stream after it's finished? Yes, mate. There's always replays of streams because it doesn't disappear. You can always watch the replay back. So anything you want to talk about, put your comments in the comment section there, mate, and we'll discuss it on the next time. Or just give me your thoughts on what we're talking about before you go and watch Chelsea lose. Gary says, I think Moyes told him to take it easy, so he's there for the rest of our games. Possibly. Kent says, Antonio was a midfielder most of the Man U game. Exactly. Completely agree. But this is the thing. This is the thing. It was, as we were talking about earlier, it's literally down for him to Moyes' setup was not to lose the game. And as much as I respect that, I don't agree with it because, like we're all saying, and like I said in the preview, we had Man United had so many injuries. You know, there's De Gea and Pogba are apparently coming back for the Europa League game, but they had so many injuries to do it. An opportunity. It was there, as Tommy said earlier. It was there for the taking. Absolutely there for the taking. But it's football. Jake says, I don't know whether you've discussed it, but apparently Cullen's price tag has tripled since he's been abroad. That makes him 2-3 million. JP, would you have kept him? Do you know what, Jake? That's a very good question, and I don't know. To be honest with you, mate, I can't say because I never watched the under-21s league. I don't know. Hindsight is a wonderful thing. Yes, you know, he's playing very, very well abroad in the Champions League games and everything, but I don't know. I can't. You know, if he was making regular appearances in the Premier League or the Cup games, for that matter, then I would have been able to give you an honest, more honest opinion. But I can't say, mate. I can't say. But at the same point, just because he doesn't succeed at West Ham doesn't mean he's going to go on. He's not going to go and succeed somewhere else. You know, it's player for the club, not club for the player. You know. Marsley says, one thing that really fucked me off was our set pieces. What the fuck did we do? A short free kick and Noble took the corner. Well, Noble took some good corners, to be fair. But yes, I said it during the live watch along, mate. Was what the hell's going on? Why they're doing? I'm not sure why they're doing the short corner. TSC, welcome, mate. Hope you're right. Dawson got so used to scoring, he ended up scoring an own goal. Oh dear, I like that. That is funny. Tommy says, sorry, but the notion that a manager would tell a player to take it easy, aka don't give it everything, is ludicrous. Agreed, 100%. Yeah, I don't. He might do, but I think probably what he means. Probably what he means by that is the fact that rest up in terms of don't, because he's obviously still coming back from injury. I think that's where he's going with it. I genuinely think that's where he's going with it. Chin, welcome. Hope you're right. Finally made it on time to do a live. Good to see you. First, glad to see you in here, mate. It's always good. Always good to see new people. Guys, we're 20 subscribers away from 1,800. It's fantastic. You know, the channel's received so much subscriber growth over the last week is absolutely brilliant, and thank you to everybody that's been subscribing, and of course thank you to everybody that's come back. Over the last 4 weeks we've had 90 returning viewers, which is fantastic. It's the highest it's been for a while. Really happy. Lawrence, talking of which, hello stranger, I haven't seen you for a while. Hope you're keeping all right. Moyes asks, do you think Moyes is not too confident in the players to be able to beat Man U? No, I just think he just thinks that we should just go out and get a point. That's what I'm thinking. Now, obviously, guys, we would have seen earlier that Ajayi Elise signed a new contract until 2023, which is fantastic news. He's doing really well while he's out on loan at Bolton or Blackburn, which one of the two. So it's really good. It's really good news that he's committed himself. So hopefully next season we might start seeing him in the side in various guises. I'm hoping. We'll have to wait and see. And he says, if Lingard plays well between now and the end of the season and gets an England call-up, will he still want to leave and come to us and the price will go up? Good point then, Walshy. And to be honest with you, mate, bearing in mind what the mouthpiece of David Sullivan's been putting up, saying that, to quote, that West Ham are going to raise hell and high water to get him, the price is going to go up anyway. It's going to go up anyway. So Gary says, how will he set up against Arsenal? Have to wait and see for the preview that comes out on Friday on YouTube and on Thursday for the Patreon. Kent says, before Josh went to Belgium, he was a good Championship player. Not sure he was a Premier League regular level. When he left, games make you improve, but sorry, full stops, mate. Was a good Championship player. Not sure he was a Premier regular level when he left. Games make you improve, but the league is is much slower and the level's not great. Exactly. I've always said you can't judge a player from how they play abroad to how it's in the Premier League, and vice versa. Eden says, I think Elise is at Cambridge. Oh, it's Cambridge. Okay. And Accrington the year before. Thank you, guys. So now, obviously, it was published up on the West Ham website earlier today or yesterday that Soufal and Soucek have made the Czech squad, and I haven't watched his video on this yet, but I saw Gio has done a video about Dawson and Lingard for England, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't be at all surprised if both are released in the squad at some point. Lingard definitely for the qualifiers. Dawson not so much because, well, actually no. Thinking about it, we haven't got a better centre back for the England setup better than how Dawson's playing. So yeah, personally, I'd say both of them should go. Let us know. Let me know what you think, guys. TC is asking, what microphone do you use? It's too fucking big for one. But it's what's it called? Where are we? It's a Sontronics Podcast Pro, a UK-based business, which is always good. Means we have some more money going into the UK. Irish Tommy says, at least looks like he has lots of potential, so delighted he signed a new contract. Ashby looks a quality right back as well. That's a good point, actually, Tommy. We ain't seen him for a while. Haven't seen him for a while. I haven't seen much about him. Is he out on loan at the minute? Charlie's asking, do you think we'll get Dawson? Apparently, he needs to make one or two more appearances, and then we trigger the two between 2 and 3 million, depending on what sources you're reading. Active clause in his loan deal to sign him permanently. So yeah, I reckon we will. Kieran says every point crucial now. Liverpool can still make the top 4. So can we, technically. Gary says, I find it strange that last season every game was important to stay up. This season every game is important for Champions League. Am I dreaming? This is the thing. Importance is different, you know, and likewise. And I'm glad you've said that, mate. To be honest with you, because Fabianski has come out with a very, very interesting conversation, saying about how the pressure has changed at the training ground. And how the pressure that we it doesn't say it word for word, but it kind of implies that we're giving pressure to him. It says, what I like about this present time is that we are still under pressure, but it's a completely different pressure to the one we felt last season when we were in a difficult position and basically fighting against relegation. At the moment, I think we feel pressure, but on the other hand, that pressure is connected to trying to achieve something cool or something nice, so it's a completely different feeling. Being able to come in every single day and everyone is basically very happy and smiling and at the same time so positive during the training sessions, and I think I think what has improved a lot when yeah that doesn't make sense. But anyway, when you look at the atmosphere of our training sessions, it's that everyone. And I think that let me rephrase that. Hang on. I think what has improved a lot when you look at the atmosphere of our training sessions is that everyone is so up for it. Yeah, that makes a bit more sense. I think that the situation has created a change of culture when it comes to keeping standards high in our training sessions, demanding a lot of yourself and your teammates every single day, because we have proved so far this season that we basically get better. That's what has happened, and it's very enjoyable to have this kind of environment. And then it goes on a few other bits and pieces. So yeah, so that's what's going on, guys. You know, we're really sort of we're going places as a football club, as we know, and it's great to see that they're still feeling the pressure that the fan base apparently seem to be putting them under. Because I'm not worried about top four. I'm just happy we'll finish in the top 10 this season. That's all I care about at the minute. Tommy says, do you think Lingard or Dawson will make the England squad? I don't think Lingard or Dawson will make the England squad, if I'm honest. Yeah, I can see why. Miles says, sorry, JP, need to get back to work. Good. All right, mate. Have a good one. Kent says Ashby is injured. That'll be why. Thank you very much, mate. But Ashley's still at West Ham, says Eden. Irish Thomas says Ashby picked up an injury which kept him out for quite a while. He's back to full fitness now, I think. I haven't seen anything. Richard Cox, welcome, mate. Hope you're right. TC says, should Bowen start against Arsenal? Wait for the preview. You know this. I don't like to talk about them in the live chats because obviously it spoils the preview. Steve Hill says, I think Stones, Maguire and Mins are in front of Dawson. That's how Southgate will probably look at it. Plus you have Cody and Keane. I'm not a big fan of Keane, to be honest with you, but yes. Yeah. But I think he's in for a shout. I genuinely think he's in for a shout for getting an appearance either at a qualifier or possibly a friendly. Where are we? So yeah. So last thing I want to talk to you guys about, because obviously I'm sure you guys are typing away with Fabianski's comments. That we'll talk about the confirmed fixtures for April, and again, there's only a couple of them that have been confirmed so far. So obviously this Sunday is the Arsenal game, live on Sky Sports at 3:00 on Sunday. Come and join us from 10 to 3 on Sunday, where we talk about the game live as it happens. Monday the 5th of April. When we play Wolves away at the Molineux, that's live on Sky. 8:15 kickoff, so again we'll be live from 8:00 on Monday the 5th of April. Sunday the 11th of April, we're home at Leicester, a 2:05 kickoff, which is random to say the least. That's also on Sky as well, so again we'll be live about 10 to 2 on that. Eden says even Consa at Aston Villa. Consa and Aston Villa. Good shout there, mate. Good shout there. Gary says, thoughts on Bowen? I don't want to give him a hard time, but mate, if you were constantly being substituted and never finishing apart from like one or two games, you've never finishing a 90 minutes, you'd be pissed off. You'd be playing the way that Bowen's been playing, and I kind of give him credit for that. Yes, all right, he's not been playing to the best of his ability. But at the same time, guys, he's not confident that he's going to finish a game. So I can see why. I agree, Gary. I don't want to give him a hard time, but I genuinely think that's what the issue is. I genuinely think it is. Kent says no Ben Rama, start Bowen, bench for me. Not sure what you mean by that, Kent. Can you clarify that? Do you mean that you won't start Ben Rama and have him on the bench and Bowen starts for you, or what? I'm not sure on that, fella. Can you please clarify that? TC, is it just me, or do I get pissed off when West Ham play on Mondays after looking forward to the weekend? Thank God we play on Sunday. I think it's just you, mate, to be fair. I mean, personally, I quite like when we play on a Monday night, because we've got a weekend to properly relax. You know, we have literally 2 days of complete relaxation, and I like that. I genuinely do. But be interesting to see what everybody else says. You know, so guys, we're gonna go. We've got 4 minutes left, so give me your questions. Is there anything you guys want to talk about that we haven't spoken about yet? So just give me your thoughts, as always. Gary says, not if you're at work the next day. Fair point. Fair point. Yeah, under normal circumstances, yes, I agree. But as it stands at the minute, because you're at home, most of us are all at home anyway, so doesn't make much of a difference. Kent says, start Ben Rama versus Arsenal, put Bowen on the bench. Cool, fair enough. Gary Page says, how much would you pay for Lingard? I wouldn't pay for much more than 15 to 20 million, as I previously discussed, especially with Luke on the Free Hammers. We talked about it with Luke and Jake, actually. TC says, Mars bar or Twix? Twix for me, and always. Never been a fan of Mars bars. Especially when I found out what Mick Jagger used to do with them when I was at junior school. Not, what he was famous for doing while I was at junior school, I should say. He wasn't, he would never came to my juniors and did unspeakable things with Mars bars. Kieran says, it's better to lose on a Monday, JP. Yes, it is. It is, to be fair. Yeah. Only just. It's never a good idea. It's never better to lose at any time, to be honest with you, mate. But yeah, I agree. So come on, guys, we've got literally a couple of minutes left. So what else do you want to talk about? Because I think we've pretty much covered everything over the last 7 days. At least that I think there's conversations. And TSC says, now I hate Mars bars. Yeah. For those that don't know, Mick Jagger and his missus at the time, I can't remember her name. They started off Mars bar parties. That's all I'm saying. Google it. Google what a Mars bar party is. Edna says, do you think it's a good thing that Antonio's changed his nationality to Jamaican? He may get injured on international duty. I'm pleased for him. Wherever he goes. He hasn't made any decision yet. He still could be called up into the England side. I doubt he will because of his age. But possibly, yeah. I at the end of the day, I'd rather him just play international football, whatever he does. If it's for England, if it's for Jamaica, whatever. Gary says, what are you watching at the moment? Have you seen Line of Duty? It's back Sunday. I've never watched it, mate. I might start. I don't know. It's not really my sort of program. But I've been watching Drop the Dead Donkey recently. On BritBox. It's such a funny program. I miss it. It's so good. So good. Kent says Mars bars are half the size they used to be. Yep, either that or you're still getting the fun size bars, mate. But yeah, you're right, they are. They're not as big as they used to be. Gary says everything is smaller now, Kent. Speak for yourself, mate. Last question, because we're coming up to it's literally just turned 8 now, so we're going to clock off any second. Lawrence says, what was your first music album? My first tape was now 5, I think it was. Now that's what I call Music 5. My first record was a reprint of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, and my first CD was Oasis's Definitely Maybe. But in the meantime, guys, that's it. We've gone for the hour now. Thank you very, very much for your time. It's been brilliant. We've had a fantastic conversation tonight. It really has flowed very, very well. Everyone's been we've had a very good, healthy amount of viewers as well. New people commentating. Nice to see some old faces coming back, like Lawrence, for example. Very, very good. Always like to see new faces and old faces returning every single week. All right, quickly, Gary. Thoughts on new European Cup competition next season? We talked about it when it was being discussed. Don't really care about that at the minute, mate. We'll have to wait and see exactly what the full details are before I can give you a full opinion on it. If you're new to the channel, welcome, of course. And for those that are watching, that are new, please do subscribe. It'd be nice to try and get us to 1,800 by the end of the season. So 20 subscribers in a couple of months. I think you guys can do it. Really think you can. Really think you really can do it. And like the video if you haven't already done so. We've got 10 likes. Thank you very much, guys. Please share this content with anybody that you feel may want to watch it. And for those that are watching the replay, please do put your comments in the comments section below. But in the meantime, guys, as I said, for the Patreons, the preview for Arsenal will be going up tomorrow. On Friday evening. On Friday evening, we'll have it'll be available on YouTube, and of course on Sunday we'll have the live watch along. So TSC, sorry mate, you're too late with your questions. We're clocking off now. I did give you guys warning. You've had 5 minutes to get your questions in, mate. So we'll discuss that next week. I'll make a note of it. We'll discuss it next week. But in the meantime, guys, look after yourselves. Be good to everybody. Try and show a bit of respect to each other as always. And in the meantime, take care, and I'll see you very soon. All the best. Take care.